Hi guys, I am Chris Marshall and welcome. It's shop night and you know what that means. I am joined by my co-host, the 2023 FRRC Super Late Model Rookie of the Year, your friend and mine, the big LG, Lou Goss. Lou, how you doing, man?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Lou, we did a lot of stuff tonight and I just want to let you guys know this episode is brought to you by Nicolet Bank.
Yeah, they've been super helpful. We've had, they've sponsored a couple episodes before, right? They provided a bunch of financial help for the shop and our home, which is just over here. And they're great. So call them with any of your financial needs.
You know, Lou, we got a lot done tonight.
Yeah.
Something looks different.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work done. I want to point you over here to the trailer. We got a lot of really cool work here. And, I think this looks really good. We got the graphics, we got the sponsors on there, which is very important.
Yeah.
And this was a very important piece, getting this on there so everybody can see our sponsors so that it separates, us from some of the other guys. Because before that, they all thought we were sponsored by Harley Davidson.
Yeah, we had Harley stuff on there. That's right. Yeah, we've been talking about this even with the last trailer we had about, getting our sponsor logos on there. And we were just trying to make sure everything was right and ready to go. And we had it on the sides, right? We did that a few weeks ago. But we got the back one finished up tonight. So got it covered up, got the Harley thing covered up, and got all the racing stuff on there. And we're pretty pumped about it.
So just looking on here, it looks like we got room for maybe a few more sponsors, maybe a few more partners that want to come aboard and maybe join us here.
Of course.
So I love it, man. I love it. So we had a test over the weekend.
Yep.
And so the test over the weekend, was there anything you were looking forward to with the test?
Well, a big thing was just because we're on the new tire, and it was kind of a struggle at the Dells once we got on the new tire. So kind of verifying where we stood with the tire program at WIR, and it actually felt very similar to the old tire as far as I was concerned at WIR. So that was good to find out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just continue with tire taking notes. So we got a couple more new tires, right? Got those into the rotation. We're gonna go buy a couple sets tomorrow, and just keep that tire info going and keep learning.
Now, when we were out there testing, did you have like a certain goal when it came to laps, or was there, something that you were maybe doing, like trying to maybe see if you could maybe keep pace with some of the other guys that were out there? Did you have like a certain ceiling that you were looking for?
Yeah. Well, of course, to begin with, kind of just wanted to make sure that, our lap time was at least as good as it has been, which it was, if not a touch better.
Mm-hmm.
And there weren't a ton of cars there, so it was sort of hard to judge with other cars around. But the ones we were around, I felt really good about the pace.
Okay.
Obviously, there's always speed out there to be found, but I felt good about it.
Now, when I told some people about it, I said, hey, we're going to be testing at the track. And they said, what is that like? What are your nerves like going into the test? Were you kind of nervous? How do you treat that? Knowing that, hey, look, I'm not going to be racing against anybody. How do you treat that going into like a test session or like a practice?
Right. Well, definitely going to a test session, I don't get nervous, right? Because it's a very relaxed day. It was a lot of fun, right? We were just kind of cutting up a little bit, making sure we were taking good notes, A-Bing some things as we tried a few things on the car. The hardest thing probably is to actually, you almost have to, force yourself to get into this, race mode, right? Because it is so relaxed and there's no competition, you have to, force that competition mindset. Because it's just a practice day. There's no one out there, right? The car doesn't just make the lap and make the lap time for you. You gotta still hit your marks. You gotta still, basically try and, act like you're in a race. And but yeah, I mean, been doing it long enough now that that's relatively easy to do. But for me, it's a conscious thing. We gotta go hard, otherwise we're not gonna learn anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Now we did something really cool. Now we had GoPro in the car to kind of see, kind of what you deal with in the car.
Yeah.
And I was watching some of it back, and I noticed, they did a little bit of, hand fighting. I think that's what you guys call it.
Yeah.
A little hand fighting area, or a little chopping a little bit on the wood in there. So it looks like, I don't know if it was different with the track being extremely hot.
Yeah.
Is there a difference? Because, that's another thing. They'll say, what's the difference with the weather? Why is that important?
Yeah.
So how does that change with how hot it was to when it cools down?
Yeah, well, you just kind of lose overall grip. But the biggest thing with that track is just so rough, right? I've heard plenty of guys say that there's dirt tracks that are smoother than WIR, which is great. Like, I got no problem with it, until you bounce your head off the headrest enough times and you're starting to, kind of get over that. But really, it makes for a super fun racetrack.
Now, with this being race week, so we didn't go to the Tundra race.
Mm-hmm.
We did watch it, just like everybody else. So with this being race week, there's some nerves because we ran the Dells.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to some of the other races. But is there any nerves going into Thursday, knowing that this is going to be your first time at the track since last year?
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into everything on Thursday?
I feel great. I mean, this is about as prepared as we've been in a long time for the start of a regular season, and we've got a bunch of laps on the car already. We probably have, 250, 300 laps on the car already, I would guess, something like that. And so, I'm starting to see the consistency with the car, right? That some of that's the stuff that can make you nervous is if you don't know what the car is going to do. I know what we got, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some speed to be had out there for sure, but nothing's going to surprise us, right? We're a lot better about our tire program. That's what I spent, a couple hours on tonight. We got great tire tracking information, right? Quentin took care of the nut and bolt check. All we did was that and
Put fuel in the car
and cleaned it up.
Yeah.
That was it. So really now it's just a matter of, running that race.
Yeah, and it's very exciting too, knowing that versus last year, from where we were last year to where we are this year, we don't have a whole lot to do. The most that we got to do is, make sure we all get enough rest and then go in there with a very positive mindset. So knowing what you know now going into it, you said you feel very confident. So going into the season, how do you see everything playing out? I know it's very far, but how do if you were to 2 months from now, how do you see it going right now with the season?
Yeah, well, I know we're just going to keep gaining on it. We're all committed. We all work hard. I think we're all just really kind of focused on it a little bit more, and we definitely have fun, in the off hours. But when it's time to get things done, we buckle down and get them done.
That's exciting, and I know this weekend, it's Memorial Day weekend. So, there's some, exciting racing that's going on this week, across the state of Wisconsin. So one of the things I wanted to do, for one of our first things is we're going to do a picks.
Sure.
So this Saturday, they got the Salute to the Troops race at Jefferson. So if you're not doing anything, I say get down to Jefferson. I'm going to be there. And it's a really cool event. I like it because a lot of the military past, present, things like that, you get to go onto the track for the veterans and shake the hands of the drivers. So I thought that was really cool, me being a veteran myself, going down there, shaking the hands of the drivers, and so that was really cool. So I wanted to do picks for the race. So I don't know if you're familiar, but I'll have you go first.
Okay. Well, I don't think I've seen, I probably have seen the entry list, but is Casey Johnson racing?
Probably.
Okay, I'm going to take him.
Okay.
Especially at Jefferson. Yep, that's
right.
An easy one.
So for me...
Do they have odds, or is it just straight up?
Well, I mean, if you want, we can do two
No.
drivers. You do one. Winner gets a choice of beer that they want.
All right, I'm picking Casey.
All right. So I'm going to go with one of my picks here. I'm going to go with Max Kaler for the win.
There you go.
So we're going to do that. So there's the race at Jefferson, and then I believe there's some dirt track racing also somewhere in the state too, which I wish I knew the tracks that there were, but I'm sure somebody will comment in there and let us know. Mm-hmm. But we're going to get all set here for WIR Thursday night. If you're not doing anything Thursday night, make sure you get down to Wisconsin International Raceway. And also, here's the cool thing about that. they are going to have our sweatshirts and t-shirts
Yeah.
in their merch trailer.
Yeah.
So that is, remember how I was telling you how our sweatshirts and t-shirts are flying off the shelves? You could get a sweatshirt just like the one that he's wearing. And I'm telling you, they have them there. So you go to DJ Speed Zone, they're at WIR. I believe it's the black trailer with the Rusty Wallace emblem on it. Go there, you purchase this sweatshirt or a t-shirt, and come down to the pits and hang out with us. It'll be a great time, and I'm looking forward to it. But do we have anything before we wanted to wrap? Or?
No, that was great. Thanks, Chris. Can't wait to get the season going.
Yeah, well, I am excited, and I do want to thank you guys for watching Shop Night, and you know what that means. I'm Chris Marshall. He's the big LG Lou Goss, and we'll see you next time.